comes to the final season of Power Book 2 Ghosts, firstly, it's sad to say it is the final season, as this is a show I truly loved, and it's sad to see it go, but at the same time, I think they did a really decent job when it came to the final season. The first few episodes of this show had a really intense story taking place, seeing the Tahattas hunting down Tariq, whilst Tariq himself is trying to find leverage to keep him and Brayden alive. It was such a great watch. I also loved when we see Tariq finally being allowed to have freedom out of the criminal life. We see that he doesn't enjoy it one bit, and it's intriguing to see him wanting to go back into that criminal life, as it's exciting for him and he doesn't seem to enjoy the menial life. Something I love was the action, especially when seeing it from characters who aren't committing that amount of violence, like Brayden and Diana, who are characters who do partake in the criminal activity. It's just when we don't really see them partaking in the violent side of crime, and it was just intriguing to see them actually diving into that side of business. And at the same time, I loved seeing characters really having to make tough decisions when going into committing these type of acts. This show used a lot of cliffhanger endings, which I totally loved, seeing characters learning about other people's real intentions and then finding out that characters, unbeknownst to them, have been caught committing a crime, and it's just the fact that they don't know that builds up so much tension. Honestly, I just loved it. They also add brief moments of hope for certain characters, of a way of escaping this criminal life that they have either put themselves into or have been forced into, and it's intriguing that they get excited over this idea only for it to be ripped away from them. I also enjoyed that this show had a lot of dark moments, showing characters facing some really serious consequences by partaking in this criminal activity. Even characters who commit the most menial acts of criminal activity, they are then forced with these horrific consequences. And it's not just the criminals they show this on, but they also show it on those who are on the other side of the law, the cops, seeing them being gunned down just because they're doing their job of all things. Really quite sad, but it's also, I think, really great message. As always, the character development in this show is amazing. I really enjoyed how they took characters who they haven't really done much on and made them a bit more layered and nuanced than you originally would think they were. I love that. And lastly, the soundtrack. I always enjoy this show for showing a lot of mainstream music, but also a bit of underground, and some of the songs really do elevate a particular scene, especially the rap songs. They give off a certain energy and just make a scene much more perfect than it actually is. When it comes to the final episode, I've got to be honest, I have mixed feelings. Firstly, I did enjoy seeing Tariq finally execute a plan and it going off without any hiccups, but at the same time I felt this season finale lacked any edge or loss. I felt like there was no real repercussions for any of the characters, which I found really disappointing. I also found it quite annoying that if this ending is so open-ended that there could be another season of this, there's characters to explore, yet at the same time it's not what you want for a show that is, this is going to be the last episode of this show and there's going to be no more. It felt too open-ended and it really bothered me. I also didn't like how they ended with certain characters, like Brayden, who I personally feel like Tariq shafted, and then the character Effie doesn't get the ending that they were building up to and instead just made her go back into the drug game. I also felt like the Tahattas were done a bit dirty as well, where we're seeing Kane being the voice of reason within that family of siblings, which made quite a surprising tale as Diana goes off the rails, and one can understand due to high emotions, but at the same time was an act so cruel that not even Monet Tahatta herself would have committed. There are things I did enjoy. For example, I enjoyed seeing Tariq finally becoming what his father was, Ghost. I also enjoyed that he is learning from his father's mistakes, as his dad wanted to get out of the gang business and become legit, whilst Tariq embraces the criminal lifestyle. He also is keeping people he truly loves at arm's distance, unlike James, which is quite sad but understandable, as he's seen what has happened to his family. He has seen what happened to people that James was close to, and he wants to not make the same mistakes again. Now, when it comes to criticisms, I do have a few. Firstly, I felt like characters such as Braden were done very dirty. If we go throughout the first 3 seasons, we see that Braden is very loyal. He has always followed Tariq's lead and never messes with the product they are selling. Yet in this season, we are seeing a completely different Braden. He's become like his older brother, who was constantly taking drugs and constantly putting not only himself, his family, and people close to Tariq in dangerous situations. And I just felt they did the character dirty, and I wasn't enjoying the path the writers were putting him on. That is also the same with Effie, as midway through this season, we see that she wants to get out of this criminal lifestyle, and we see Kane even helping her to get out. But then during the finale, we see that she is embracing it and going with the flow, now selling drugs, which I found very baffling, as she was given an opportunity to escape this lifestyle, and 20 minutes before the finale, she and Tariq were arguing and she left. So I don't quite understand why she's gone back to selling drugs. Another thing which I enjoyed, which they sadly got rid of, was in the first 3 episodes they were showing flashbacks, and we get to learn a bit about Monet before she became the person she is now, learning a bit about raising her children and how she got into the business. I really enjoyed these little flashbacks, but then when it gets to the second half, they completely cut this off, and I found that quite disappointing, as I was really enjoying it. Now, if it was just 1 episode, I could completely understand it, but it was a narrative that was continuously following throughout the first half of the season, so I do question why they decided to end it. And lastly, I felt the show moved a bit too quickly compared to its previous seasons. Now, I understand it is a final season, and this is what usually happens when it gets to those type of things, but I really wanted to see the war between the Tahata siblings and Tariq go on for more than just 1 episode, and not what we get, which is just an unruly true/cold war between the families. I wanted to see more, but oh well. Overall, I did enjoy the story. I really enjoyed the twists the show threw at us, but I felt the ending lacked any loss or repercussions in any sort of way. I also felt that the story felt rushed in certain areas, but overall, is this good? I'll be honest and say it's very good. Rating wise, it's a 7.5 out of 10. And when it comes to would I rewatch it, the answer is plain and simple, and that is a yes. I rewatched it before season 4 came out and honestly loved it. Season 4, again, it's not my favourite series of the show, but it's definitely better than some of the spin-offs. So yeah, 100% I'll be rewatching it. When it comes to recommendations, of course I'm going to recommend the first Power series. Whilst the first season is a bit slow, it definitely picks up from season 2 onwards. It's very intriguing, great character development, and a lot of great violence and hooking story. The spin-offs, I'll be honest, Power Book 2 has always been my favourite, but I would say Raising Kanan, the first 2 seasons were really intriguing to me. The 3rd season was a bit of a fumble in my eyes, but I still enjoyed certain aspects, and I'm looking forward to the next few seasons. Power Book 4 Force, whilst I don't think it's got the greatest of character development, I still love the violence and story that we got. I definitely think the 2nd season was the best. I can't wait to see more. Hopefully we get to see Tariq return in that. Those are my recommendations. This has been my review for the TV show Power Book 2 Ghosts. Thank you for watching. If you have enjoyed, please like and subscribe, and most importantly, thank you and have a nice day.